Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a warm welcome to AYM Inspirations. I'm your host, Jasmina Peterson, where we are finding ourselves in our thought-provoking segment once again, where we have life coach and author Zainab Achmat speaking to us about a variety of topics that we can take along with us on this journey that we are on, so that we can better introspect and look at situations better in a different light. Now, this morning she is joining me on this. Now, this morning, she joins me on the line to speak to us about another important topic. And the topic that we are speaking about this morning is, how to pick yourself up from a downfall in life, and also quick tips as to how to get back up, because I think it's easier said than done. Zainab, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Yasmina.
How are you doing?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah, and yourself?
I'm good, alhamdulillah. Shukran once again for making the time to be part of the program. Now, Zainab, how to pick yourself up from a downfall? I think it's easier said than done. And here we really want to look at what are the downfalls in life and what can be categorized as downfalls, bearing in mind that, for example, my downfall will be different towards your downfall, and we'll have different situations and deal with scenarios in a different way. So speak to us all about what do you categorize as a downfall?
So, 100%, there are definitely different downfalls. And just like the pain threshold, everybody's pain thresholds are different. And so, for me, for example, if I must lose my child, somebody maybe kidnapped my child, and my child is gone, and I don't get to see my child, and I have no closure, that could be a downfall for me. It could also be, especially in the Muslim society, where you have females who is at home, and they are codependents to their husbands, and the husband maybe pass away. That could be their downfall. For other people, there's divorce, which is also happening, sadly, quite often. That is a downfall. It could also be something as serious as rape or abuse of any form, mental abuse even. There's many, many cases, and one can just go on and on because, today life has become so real and crime has become so real that every situation, just even being held up, can be a downfall for somebody to almost like get over.
Now, Zainab, speaking about downfalls, everyone, if you are going through a traumatic life experience or you have been through it, nobody really understands what you have gone through, or nobody really understands the pain that you are feeling at the time of this downfall or this very difficult situation. So it's easier said than done when we are saying, you know what, all you need to do is pick yourself back up and go out into the world. So how do we do that, and where do we start?
So last night I was speaking to my younger son, who is now 19 years old, and we had completely different, let's say, viewpoints on it. So for him, he says, especially in the youth, just leaving matric and bridging that gap into the real world is really a downfall for him because he never has enough experience to get the job, or things like that. So for him, he's feeling unstable, and the reality is there's literally just 6 basic human needs to survive, and one of it is really stability. And for him, that was maybe his challenge, like currently now, stability. So you have also like I said, there's literally 6 human basic needs. And it's different for different people. And if any one of those 6 basic human needs are not being met, then we feel completely unstable. We feel like something is not right. How's society going to see me? We're always worried about the next person, or comparing ourselves to others. And that is also a challenge on its own. So we literally need to assess the situation that we are currently in, the reality of the situation. Is it something that is so bad that I can't fix it myself? Do I need support from others to help me fix it? Also, we need to keep in mind that no matter what our situation is, it's usually a temporary situation. It's nothing fixed. And it's something that we can overcome. It's just how are we going to overcome it? Bridging that gap is usually the main focus.
And talking
So,
about bridging that gap, Zainab, before you continue, which is the main focus and the scenario that you have mentioned, when it comes to that point in time, having to pick yourself up, having to, go through life and go on with your normal doings, however you are hurting inside.
of course. Of
What do
course.
you do with those feelings?
And so this is the reality of the situation. We need to first and foremost accept it, because it is like I say, it is what it is. I can't change it. It's happened in the past. I have to accept it. But now, how do I deal with it? The action of trauma happens, you can say, within minutes. It can happen within minutes. It can happen within an hour. But the mental state that we are left with afterwards can continue for months, can be continuing for years. It can stay with you if we don't ourselves do introspection and figure out how are we going to deal with this. Because we need to gain that fresh perspective of life, of what is going to bring us peace and how are we going to get towards working towards that peace. That action plan, is that recovery plan is what we need to do. But it's like when you go to gym, the initial phase of just getting up and doing it. It's that is what blocks so many people. It blocks them because why me? Now over questioning comes. Why me? Why must this happen to me? We're questioning. We shouldn't be questioning anything that happens to us, because then it's like we're questioning Allah. We need to accept it. We need to focus on what's going to make us better. What do I need to gain peace into my life? That is the kind of questions you must ask. What do I need to gain peace into my life? What do I need what goals do I need to set to achieve that peace in my life? Small things to reach that final goal. And what is the action that I need to take to do those things? You understand? Because now we need to be responsible for our own happiness, for ourselves, for our peace. We need to surround ourselves and choose people who are supportive and positive people. We can't be sitting with people who's going to be in a negative space with us. Because sometimes a trauma thing, it could actually be something like, if I must, let's say, for example, I go to pick up something, and I'm now asking a friend of mine to take me with to go and pick up something. But now, let's say we get robbed or hijacked, for example. I'm going to feel guilty because I asked my friend to go with me. So now everybody's maybe blaming me, which is going to put me in a worse mental state. Because people are often quick to give you, to say something or to make a suggestion or to say something, but they're not really concerned about how it's going to affect you. How it's going to affect your peace, your mental state that you're in. So those are the things that we need to really look at. But there are tips we can talk about.
And I would love for you to go into that tips now, Zainab. And before you actually do go into those tips, I just want to mention that, we are so scarred by our traumatic experiences that we have faced in our life that, let's say, for example, we have been divorced. Some of us, they don't have the willpower to continue. They would normally, maybe this is their first divorce, and they just have this notion, and they've just been programmed, I'm not getting married again. I don't want my life to be the same as it was. I don't want my husband to be the way that my previous husband treated me. So that comparison, that will always stay. And I've had this with a lot of people, actually, that I've come across when, they have gone through a divorce, and normally I'm the jokey one and I'm telling them, don't worry, what's to come is better than
Yes,
what you have lost. So now you're going to
yes,
get, a better
yes,
husband. We're always
yes.
in between. It's either that you're getting a better husband than what you had previously, or you're not getting a better husband than what you had previously. And then
Mm-hmm.
they would always say, you know what? I actually don't want to get married again. I don't think I
Yes.
would want to, put myself in this
Mm-hmm.
again. So there the
Yes.
comparison then comes.
No, absolutely. And I agree with you 100%. And that are real emotions that people really go through. And so, as everybody says, time heals old wounds. Yes, it does. But that trauma, if it's not dealt with mentally and emotionally, it will stay with you. And so, it sounds maybe harsh by saying that nothing in life is guaranteed other than death. So the people that we have in our life, everything, the dunya stuff, everything is on loan. Today we can have everything or everyone. Tomorrow it can be taken away from us. So we need to learn how to appreciate what we have at this moment in time. So if I talk about the tips that I said I wanted to speak about, okay? First and foremost, again, everything in life is temporary. Like a chapter, like every book has got its own chapters. Today, this is your chapter. Tomorrow, it might be another chapter. We are our own authors. We need to depict what we want. Do we want our book to end in a sad note, or do we want our book to end in a positive note? Secondly, we need to start talking. We can't hold everything in. The minute we hold things in, we start to overthink things. And once you overthink things, we can go in a downward spiral. So we need to start talking to somebody you can trust, whether it be a friend, a family member, a colleague, but we need to speak, okay? Then number three, I would say we need to start really, when sometimes we have anxiety attacks. I don't know if you've ever experienced it, Jasmina.
No, I
When you have
haven't. I haven't.
anxiety attacks, you literally need to start learning how to deep breathing exercises. Some people have the 5-5-5 rule where you literally breathe in for 5 seconds, hold it for 5 seconds, and then you release for 5 seconds. And you keep on doing it until you feel you're more in control of things. Okay? And then you also need to learn to assess the situation, like I said, the real situation for what it is. Be honest about it, Be honest when you're actually looking and when it comes to self-awareness and where you are at the moment, what are my options? How can I get out of the situation? What do I need to do to get out of the situation? And then we need to, for example, in order to get out of a situation, you need to look at, is the situation safe for me? Is my safety compromised? Is my safety compromised physically? Am I being abused physically? Am I being abused mentally? Do I need to speak up? Because sometimes people fear what is other people going to think of me, and they stay in those abusive, whether it be a relationship, whether it be physical abuse that somebody's maybe doing with them, especially in the youth. I've spoken to my son again. There was lots of youngsters, teenagers in high school that is going through physical abuse, but they're too scared to say. And these are the things that I'm talking about. This is trauma that people carry with them. This is the down, the lowest of low, and they can't even tell somebody of fear of what's going to say, what other people are going to say. We also need to look at focusing on ourselves, self-love, self-care, in order to move forward. We need to get involved, for example, like I said, volunteering, community work, because sometimes when you see other people, other situations, you will realize that your situation is maybe not as bad as somebody else's. And that is why it helps us when we do introspection. We need to find a lesson out of the situation, and again, continue having a gratitude journal. It keeps you on a bit of a positive note. And then lastly, I'd like just to say, keep focusing on your next move towards whatever is going to bring you peace. That is all that I need to say about that. That is how I got through. So that is my tips, Jasmina.
Shukran so much, Zainab. And we've reached the
Rahman.
conclusion of today's segment, and it was
Mm-hmm.
such a thought provoking segment. Stay tuned for next week, inshallah, where we are going to be continuing on this, where we are going to be speaking about the abandonment trauma and what this is all about with Zainab Ahmad, life coach and author, right here on AM Inspiration. Zainab, I want to wish you everything of the best for the rest of the day. Enjoy the weekend, inshallah. Until we speak Monday. Assalamu
Shukran.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
That they're the voice of Zainab Ahmad, life coach, speaking to us all about how to pick yourself back up when you have gone through traumatic experiences in your life. We head out now for ads, and once we return, we'll continue. Stay tuned.